Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast. It's UFC Vegas 107, Blanchfield versus Barber. I'm Sniper, that's Monk. Gonna run through all. It is 11 fights. Do not let DraftKings or anywhere else fucking panic you. We're gonna cover all that in a second. But it's 11 fights, gonna break it all down for DraftKings. Monk, before I'll get to the changes in a second. How are you this week? How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Had a good week off, but of course we missed fights. But yeah, ready to get into this absolute barn burner of a Vegas 107 card.
Hopefully it's one of those cards that under promises, over delivers. And it's fights, I'm still gonna watch them. Do I wish there were better fights?
Oh yeah,
sure. But people were talking, hey, who's actually gonna watch tough? Chael versus DC. Guys, they're fights. Fights are fights. I'm going to watch fights. And Chael is funny. DC is unintentionally funny. I tweeted earlier. Of course I'm going to watch it. Like, it's going to be fun. And if you don't, then don't watch it and shut up. Can you say, man, I wish there were better fights on? Yeah, I guess. But you're getting midweek fights. Like, it's not. Now, this card's a little bit different. Okay, now the changes. All right. Let's break it down nice and slow. Billy Goff was supposed to fight Siak Hyun Ko. Ramiz Brahimaj was supposed to fight Oban Elliott. Elliott and Ko both have visa issues. Both of those fights are off, and instead, Goff is going to fight Brahimaj. That is important because their salaries were set before those cancellations. You have some major chalk. We'll cover it when we get to that card. Also, when we get to that fight, if you did everything early in the week, you will not have seen Trevin Giles versus Andreas Gustafsson Berg. Berg was supposed to fight Jeremiah Wells. Wells is out. Giles is in. Berg and Giles is the new fight. And I got salaries for that like an hour before this podcast. So I looked at the fight, obviously, and we'll talk about it. But those are new fights. Those are the 11 fights on the card. Monk, as always, top or bottom, does it matter this week?
I feel like it always matters. I think we got to start with the Dos Santos Ardelean fight. We can't end with that.
Why?
Just
SmackDown.
I mean, he could be fantastic, but that's disrespectful.
On OnlyFans, on Alice Ardelean's OnlyFans, maybe. Which, by the way, she is legitimate.
It's not real anymore. That these are not the days of Kay Hansen. These are the days of Eileen Perez and Alice Ardelean.
Yeah. You mean 0-2 in the UFC? Alice Ardelean, who is, let's break this fight down this way.
Yeah.
Rayanne Dos Santos, Rayanne Amanda, is 0-3 in the UFC. She is a -270 favorite, boys and girls. That should tell you all you need to know about Alice Ardelean. Let's do the breakdown. Rayanne Dos Santos, Rayanne Amanda, Brazilian last names. Pick which one is -270. Alice Ardelean is +220. Fight goes to decision, -375. That's a big old number. Should see 3 rounds of quote-unquote action. Amanda is 9,300, the most expensive fighter on the card. Cool story. Ardelean is 6,900. Monkey did a lot of head shaking over there. Break it down.
How is an 0-3 fighter minus almost 300 against anyone? I don't give a shit if it's a different weight class. Like, this is insanity. It's not like she's losing to, Zhang Wei Li, Verna Jandiroba, and, some other strawweight. It's Gomez, it's Alencar, and it's Puja Tomar. And yeah, I'm doing a lot of head shaking because this is slated to go all 3 rounds, which I agree with. And that means Alice Ardelean at 6,900 is, and could be pun intended with her OnlyFans, is definitely playable at this price. You know what she has scored in 15-minute fights? 40 and 48 points against Melissa Martinez and Shauna Bandon. Those are just as good as Puja Tomar and Talita Alencar probably. So who's to say she can't do that in this fight? Now, stupidly, probably in hindsight, I even picked the underdog to win here. I was forcing underdogs.
What?
I picked her to win.
Doing?
Oh yeah.
There's other underdogs to pick. There's
10 other underdogs to pick. Ardelean lands over 4 strikes a minute in the first, 6.2 in the second, and 4.6 in the third. She's landing takedowns, almost 2 minutes of control time in the first round, over a minute in the second. What does Rayando Santos do? Strike, strike, strike. That's it. That's all she does. It's not like she does it well against
Yes.
Puja Tomar. I mean, 5.6, but had no power. Against Alencar, 3.8, no knockdowns. Denise Gomes, 3.6, and she got outstruck 2-1. Who's to say, like, unless Dos Santos knocks her out in the first round, why can't Ardelean score another 45 points at 6,900? There is no chance I'm playing Dos Santos at 9,300. Complete and utter fade. And yeah, therefore I'm taking Ardelean. It's like I said, probably a stupid pick, but in my opinion, the only DraftKings play that you can make.
There we agree. Look, Ardelean, you can make if you're playing 20 lineups, I would just fade this fight and hope not to get fucking burned. Because Rayanne's better. She just is. However, she's not going to score amongst point, especially not to pay off her giant salary based on the texture of the slate, the card, like the way the salaries fell, minus 270. There's some weeks minus 270 is like 8,500, 8,800. There's a lot of big favorites. Not this week. Not this week. Good luck. I'm not going to play her. I'm picking her to win. I'm full fading her. I'll run back a little bit of Ardelean in case she's, who knows? Sure, I'll run some back, the better DraftKings play, but I can't pick her straight out. Give me Rayando Santos because eye test tells me she's better. Oh man, that was exhilarating. This fight,
we'd start off with a little head shaking.
This one's interesting, but also a little bit frustrating for me. Balaji Oki is minus 170-ish. Come back on Maderos is Marquel Maderos about plus 150. Your fight go to decision is minus 155. So should see still expecting the judges scorecards, which we are, I think, in most fights on this card, I believe. Balaji Oki, though, is 8,900. Maderos is 7,300. Monk, how we approaching it?
I know I said I didn't pick a ton of underdogs, which I swear I didn't, but this is the second one that I picked. I'm going with Marquel Maderos here, and simply because his defense completely slows down every single person he fights. His striking defense in the first is 60%, in the second it's 63%, and in the third it's 66%. There's no way. I mean, Oki is a quick starter, very quick. 7.85 strikes per minute, 1.32 takedowns, and 0.65 minutes of control time in the first. And all of that completely falls off the cliff in the second round, where he averages just 2 strikes a minute.
He's only been in the second round once, though.
Yeah, and it was real fucking shitty, turned out. So he could have gotten to the second round against Chris Duncan, but he got subbed too fucking quick. So there's no chance.
Chris Duncan would both knock us out, both of us out at the same time.
Sure, but either way, I'm not a professional fighter, and this dude subbed him.
But there'd be 2 of us.
So, Timmy Kwamba, I mean, I don't hold that win in much regard, and the other fight is a DWCS fight. So, yeah, I'm going with Maderos simply because he's cheaper and his defense is truly spectacular. So I don't think outside of a first round finish, there is zero chance Balaji Oki pays off his salary here. So once again, give me Marquel Maderos to get the win via his defense.
I don't know about zero chance because seeing he'll go for takedowns. So takedowns, control time could pay off. Maderos got pretty good.
He hasn't outside of the first round.
I'm going to. It's one fight. Stop saying that. It's one fight.
It's 3 DraftKings. It's 3 fights. It's 2 UFC fights and 1 Dana White Contender Series fight. This one fight has gone past the first round.
Yes,
and he threw 0 takedowns. None. Didn't even attempt them.
Because he was on his back in this one. Your sample size is 1, stat boy. Your sample size is
and what 1. Is that? Why does that give you so much confidence about Oki?
It doesn't.
Hater boy.
Let me just say that most of this episode is going to be me shitting on you because all the fights suck.
And then we'll talk about it next week and we'll say, I was right or I was wrong. And then we'll do the same exact thing again like we do every week.
Yeah, and it's fun. So everybody like and subscribe.
Exactly.
Look, I will say, both these guys, how these 2 guys, this is the most amazing thing to me. All jokes aside, how is Balaji Oki 2-1 under a UFC banner and Marquel Maderos 3-0? Like, how is that a thing?
I was gonna say, I think about 2 weeks ago we were just talking about how bad Balaji is, and now he's like 92 or 9100 or some shit, 8900.
Look, both these guys are not good, and I think it's hilarious that the prices are where they are. To me, it is similar to the last fight. I do think Balaji Oki is better. I think the takedowns are a path there for him, right? However, I will say Maderos is probably the better option because the line is too wide, and DFS wise, he's cheaper. Pretty, straightforward breakdown. But I think Balaji Oki is. I think you're not giving him quite enough credit here in this matchup because I don't rate Marquel Maderos at all. So maybe we'll find more after this. I am amazed that combined these guys are 3-1 in the UFC and 2-0 in Contender Series. I watched tape and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? So give me Oki. It's with no level of confidence at all. There are going to be good fights to target on this slate. We just not starting with them.
Yeah, this is not a good DraftKings fight unless you think Oki's got a first round finish in you. Then play him.
All right, now we get to a good DraftKings fight and mid-range salaries. The brother of Alexander Gustafsson, as a cousin, is his brother? I should know that.
Gotta be. No, I think everyone in Sweden is named Gustafsson. So
yeah, it's true. Let's
kind of like saying all the Dos Santos are related.
Are Alexander and Andreas Gustafsson related? I'm almost positive.
I'd be shocked.
Nope, no blood relation. Well, I lost a fun talking point. Not that it matters to this fight at all. But I searched for anything to talk about other than Trevin Giles in a Trevin Giles fight. Whatever, man. All right, Gustafsson Berg, who is not related to Alexander Gustafsson, popular to contrary belief. He is not related in any way. God, I was hoping. Minus 160. Giles is about plus 140-ish. I'm rounding some of these numbers. Probably closer to plus 130 on average. Fight ends inside the distance. Finally a good one at minus 170, minus 145, under 2.5 rounds. DraftKings salaries, so it's nice mid-range salaries we like to target. 8,400.
Yeah.
84 for Berg, Gustafsson Berg, and Giles 7,800. Monk, I know you love to play Trevin Giles as much as I do. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm not going for 3 dogs in a row here, even though a 13 fight pro career in a 34-year-old prospect does not scream great things coming. But I'm on the Gustafsson side here. Trevin Giles, Gustaf's son.
You gotta sound like a shit in your pants. It's very important.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, maybe he is related. We'll have to check his arm to see if he has an incomplete tattoo of all the fights that he's won and hasn't chosen to put any of the fights he's lost on his arm. So we'll have to check that when the weigh-ins come. But yeah, I mean, Giles statistically isn't bad as far as defense goes. Like he has no volume, nothing really offensively, but he only allows less than 2.5 strikes per minute, and it's pretty consistent throughout all 3 rounds except for that second where he allows almost 5. But he just does not have. I mean, he's been finished in 6 of 7 UFC losses. I mean, Gustafsson is how many? He has 10 KO wins. Yeah. I mean, Giles, he'll get subbed, he'll get KO'd. It doesn't matter. Andreas seems to prefer the KO. And this is a catchweight fight. I believe it is at 180 pounds, so an official catchweight fight, which probably only benefits Gustafsson here. So I'm not going crazy with the ownership because it's a newcomer, 34-year-old prospect. But I will favor Gustafsson for sure. I'll pick him, and I'll probably roster him in GPPs. I don't know about cash, probably not. I'd rather pick people a little bit more consistent than just somebody who beat Pat Pitlick on the DWCS. But yeah, I'm definitely going to pick him to win.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Pitlick and Gustafsson. What a fight.
Yeah, I'm on Gustafsson as well. Look, Trevin Giles, it kind of just is a known quantity. He's lost 3 straight, but it's again Mike Malott, Carlos Prates, Gabriel Bonfim. Before that, his loss. I mean, To
I
be
mean, his
fair,
losses are to the
guys,
best of the best.
Morales Duplessis beat Roman Dolidze, although I remember not agreeing with his Dolidze decision. I didn't rewatch this at all. Bevan Lewis fight was the cure for the will to live. He should have lost the Kraus fight too. That was a bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he's beaten guys, and he's I don't know. We don't really know what we have in Gustafsson. Looks pretty good. I think he's more likely to get a finish. That's where the line leans. Mid-range salaries. Look, where this fight comes down to, I'm going to pick Gustafsson because I don't think Giles is any good. It's with no level of confidence. It's a GPP fight that is minus 170 to end in a finish and mid-range salaries. I'm going to be overweight in both guys, a little more in Gustafsson, and move on about my day. I wouldn't touch this for a bet. I wouldn't touch it anywhere. It's not an all-in fight because I don't know really, because Giles can fight like molasses, and I don't know what Gustafsson's going to do in his UFC debut. UFC jitters, I do think, are a real thing. So plenty of red flags here, but I'm just going to go over on both guys based on the slate. And like I said, that's my approach, and move on about my day. Oops. Let's move on to Jordan Leavitt and Kurt Holobaugh. Leavitt's a minus 190 favorite. Come back on Holobaugh is about plus 160. Fight goes to decision minus 140. I think is interesting. Leavitt wins by sub is plus 275. Actually, not that good. I thought I was going to get more out of that, but it's, I think, the most likely outcome to this fight, personally. I think we all know that, but we'll cover that in a second. Leavitt's 8,700. Holobaugh is 7,500. Monk, I looked at the stats in this one. I know you're a stat guy. We talked about it before. If you're not taking Jordan Leavitt here based on stats, I would be stunned.
Yeah, I definitely am. And it's because Kurt Holobaugh has zero defense in pretty much any and every category. The only thing he's got going for him that isn't...
This was one of the more jarring numbers I've ever seen for somebody with this many UFC fights. And that number, if you're listening, it's got 39% takedown defense over like 10 UFC fights. It's so bad.
It's brutal.
So bad.
And if you count the stats in the DWCS fight against Bassett, it's even worse at 37.5. So and we will, because it's that bad. We have to count it. He's never been reversed, and that's the only positive thing that I can say about his defense. Everything else is way below average. He's 1-4 in decisions. So even if somehow he doesn't get taken down and subbed, the decision odds are not good for him. Everything Jordan Leavitt does is, I'm not going to say really good, but it's serviceable and it's very well-rounded. Like, he doesn't have a ton of volume, especially once you get into that third round. But what he does have is consistent, okay volume, takedowns, and then the control time is very good. All of that, especially in the first round. And that is where Kurt Holobaugh, all he does is strike. 5.75 strikes in the first, 6.2 in the second, and then that's it. He completely falls off a cliff. He does nothing else in the meantime for the most part. And he has been knocked down, I believe, in the third round. So I don't know. I have nothing like his striking is good, is serviceable. It's high volume. He lands 5 strikes a minute, but he gets hit with almost 5 strikes a minute as well. We're not expecting to see that from Leavitt, but his accuracy is extremely good at 61% compared to 45% for Kurt Holobaugh. And like you said, the takedowns at 38, 39% is truly abysmal. Control defense, he gets controlled for 71% of the time. He's in control time positions. This is all Leavitt, whether it's decision, whether it's submission, it's going to be him. The only thing I would say to be careful for, it's risky to play Leavitt if this goes to decision. He does not score well in decisions. He needs that finish to really pay off that salary. Especially this week at 8,700, he only averages like 78 points per decision win. So we're going to have to see that sub if you want him to pay off that salary.
I got nothing else to add here. Like, that takedown defense number, I keep flashing up. It's funny, at Discord, that's the MMA staff room where poor Texan, by the way, is very over the MMA late changes and all the stuff he's got to change in the back end. Again, not happy about it.
I mean, Holobaugh's 2-6 in the UFC. Who even has that record?
pivoting away from our staff chat, which would be probably more interesting. Actually, I don't think there's anything fun in there right now. I hope not. I flashed it on screen twice.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna have to pull that up on a different monitor and see what's up. Yeah, Holobaugh's got no takedown defense. Leavitt's gonna take him down. 2.19 takedowns per 15 minutes. Has good submissions. Has an inverted triangle finish. Somehow knocked out Victor Henry with a knee, which was fucking hilarious. Look, I think he's got submissions. He's got grappling. Grappling should be good enough here. Grappling scores well. Medium. I mean, you don't need a ton of upside to be live on this slate, as we've covered. Give me Jordan Leavitt. I'll have minimal Holobaugh on the run back too, because there's other dogs I like who we're going to get to.
Yeah, it's not a full fade on Holobaugh, but it's pretty fucking close for me.
It's not good. All right, let's talk Alan Nascimento and Jafel Filho. Finally, a dog that I hope you can support, Monk. For God's sake. Nascimento is minus 155. Filho is plus 135. I can tell you're not going to pick him. It's fine. DraftKings salaries here. Nascimento is 8,600. Filho is 7,600. Fight goes to decision is minus 135. Monk, why are you all in on Alan Nascimento?
I don't know if I'm all in. I like this fight both sides for GPPs. For sure, Filho is definitely live. I mean, the thing, I am picking Nascimento, but just barely. I think he's just a little bit more well-rounded, and maybe that's just because I've seen him. Actually, they have the same amount of UFC fights. Both guys have been off for quite a while. I mean, Nascimento over 2 years, that's always a question mark, but Filo's been out for more than a year as well. The striking numbers are just a bit better for Nascimento. He's landing over 3 strikes a minute, which isn't
Monk,
shit.
you got really low. Your volume is down.
I'm fucking muted. Have you been able to hear me or no?
I'm
Jesus
able to hear you, but it's something else is picking up.
I had to turn my fan on because it's hot as fuck up here. That's why I look like a tomato. But yeah, I was saying I like Filho, but I'm picking Nascimento. But this is a fight that I am going to be targeting in DraftKings. I just think Nascimento is slightly more well-rounded. 3 strikes a minute he lands isn't shit, but it's better than 2.36 from Filho. Now, Filho has shown power, but he's also been chinned as well. The one thing that intrigues me here, fight inside the distance, plus 105. Like, I kind of see why they lined it like that. Nascimento only has, one finish in his 4 UFC fights. All the others are decisions. By all, I mean 3. But Jafel Filo's been out of the first round twice, or once in the UFC, and he went to the 3rd round in DWCS. But these dudes have a ton of finishes, like 21 finishes combined in the first round. 16 finishes from Nascimento, 15 of which are subs, 15 finishes from Filho out of 16 fights. Like, I understand, I guess, why they think this is going to decision, but if you can get inside the distance plus 105 or plus money, I'm thinking about, I like that a lot, to be quite honest. The over, the under 2.5 is plus 130. I would just, I like the plus 105 personally. I mean, I can see how this goes to decision if both guys just kind of try to grapple fuck each other and it's stalemates. Like, I totally get it. But Nascimento, in that second round, he's doing quite a bit, almost 4.5 strikes a minute, takedowns, control time. Filho allows nothing, though. His defense is pretty good. So there's a chance these guys just kind of don't do anything. But I think there's also a chance one of them gets subbed here. So I kind of like this fight for DraftKings. Might be flying a bit under the radar. And I really kind of like the salaries, too, at 86 and 76. I think both guys are very playable.
Well, we're going to disagree here because I don't think this is a great one for DraftKings, despite all those finishes. I think it's level of competition. They're both against better guys now. They're light guys. We don't typically see a lot of finishes in the UFC in this weight class. I think Filho's a touch better. Again, we just slightly disagree. You said you thought Nascimento looked a touch better. I think Filho's a little better. I do think if one side is more likely to get a finish, I actually think it's the Filho side, and he's cheaper. All things for the reason kind of slant me towards the Jafel Filho side. I'll probably be under this fight. I'll probably be field to Filho and under to Nascimento is how I'm going to approach it. I don't have a strong enough take on either guy to tell you I really want to play him in cash games, but again, If Filho is like last man in, I'm probably not going to sneeze at it. Just
Sure.
my preferred play. I think he's a little bit better kind of in this no man's man of a mid-range.
That is true. That is a no man's land for sure.
All right, but let's go. Let's talk some violence. We're starting violence now.
Hey, here we go.
Zachary Reese, Dusko Todorovic. Reese is about minus 245. The comeback on Todorovic is plus 205. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 600. Under 1.5 rounds, minus 200. We should see violence. DraftKings salaries. Reese is 9,200. Todorovic is 7,000. Monk, who you got?
I'm going to take the favorite here, but Todorovic is definitely worth, a little bit more than a punt at the very least, just because both of these guys, neither guy's very good, to be honest. Like, what are we talking about with Zach Reese? He is 3-2 in the UFC. I think he lost to Brundage and he lost to Bakoyev. The Bakoyev win is aged pretty well, but Brundage, I mean, how do you get knocked out by Brundage in a minute and a half? That dude punches himself in the back of the head and gets out of fights. Jose Daniel Medina is the only fight he went to decision with so far in the UFC, but Medina has like supernatural, like Dredrick Tate or Homer Simpson versus Dredrick Tatum type of durability. Like, you can hit this guy with a sack of fucking nickels and he's just standing there. He won't get finished. So I don't really blame him for that one. Todorovic is just out here getting finished in basically every loss but the Rodriguez fight. I mean, Puna first round, Chidi first round, Duncan first round, and Mansour absolutely put it on him in his debut in his last fight. So yeah, I don't have a ton to say about this. Neither guy is trustworthy, but I do trust Zach Reese a little bit more. Last thing I'll say is the defense for Todorovic is almost as bad as Kurt Holobaugh. Like, legitimately, the striking defense is actually worse in almost every way. So he has some decent striking offense, lots of volume, but he eats almost 5 strikes a minute, where Zach Reese only eats 3.5. So take your pick. Neither guy's fought. Both guys have terrible strength of schedules for the most part. I mean, there's okay names on the Todorovic side, but nobody crazy. So yeah, give me Zach Reese to get it done inside the distance, and I think 9,200 is probably good in all formats. Well, all right, GPPs. I might look elsewhere for cash, but we'll see.
Yeah, this is a GPP all-in fight for me because of the slate.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Zachary Reese is not as good as this line. Todorovic is bad. Zachary Reese is the pick, but if either guy gets smoked, I'm not going to be a little bit surprised. All into the fight in this fight, GPPs. This will be in every single one of my lineups. If this fight scores shitty, I didn't have a good week. 11 fights. These prices, these lines, this matchup is what it is. Zachary Reese is better. I'll be all in. My knee-jerk reaction right now says 75-25 Reese to Todorovic. If Todorovic is going to come in at 25-30, I might bump it to like 70-30, 65-35. That's going to be see how the rest of my builds are coming along decision, honestly.
For sure.
That's my knee-jerk reaction. It is all in. All right, so I picked Filho earlier. Finally, another dog, but we've already broken down this fight. Ketlin Vieira, Macy Chiasson, rescheduled fight here. The line is flipped. Never mind. Well, Chiasson's cheaper on DraftKings.
It was at she was at minus 120 this morning. I don't know what she's at now.
Yeah, well, it's same, about minus 115 to minus 120. Around that minus 100, minus 105 mark for Ketlin. Fight goes to decision, though, is minus 300, so not expected to see a finish here. And your DraftKings salaries, it is the mid-range fight. Ketlin is 8,200, Macy's 8,000, so technically she's cheaper. No, it's not by a lot. Monk, who you got?
Well, I was going to take the underdog, but she's not the underdog anymore. So I'll take the DraftKings underdog in Macy Chiasson here. She just, look, Vieira's got decent defense for the most part. I mean, her takedown defense is 89%. That's fantastic. But really, when you look at the round by, I mean, she's landing some takedowns. She is getting decent control time, but the volume is under 3 strikes a minute in every round. Chiasson seems to be busier. She's landing over 4 strikes a minute off the bat. She's got more takedowns in the first. She's got more control time in the first and the second, and actually the takedowns as well in the first and second. and the third. So she is outworking Ketlin Vieira stat-wise on the ground and in the grappling departments. Now, when these two face each other, that could obviously change. But for now, I mean, both of them have decent, serviceable defense, and Macy Chiasson has the statistical advantage on the feet, and it's really not close, in my opinion. She's landing 3.7. She only gets hit with 2.7. Meanwhile, Vieira is getting outlanded 3.9 to 2.9. So she's getting outstruck by a strike per minute. And I just think Macy can capitalize there. She's also got more finishes than one would imagine. Myra Bueno, Penny Kienzad. She finished. Who else did she finish? She finished Sarah
Penny
Rice.
Kienzad was a liver up kick that was beautiful to watch and a little rough.
Wasn't that the Aldana? I thought she lost that one. Wasn't that when
Aldana? Is she? Wait.
Yeah, Aldana kicked her. Yeah, Aldana up-kicked her in the third round of the liver.
Oh, yeah.
Kianzad got subbed in 4 minutes, and Silva got KO'd as well in 7. So she's landing very good volume for the most part. She's attempting and getting takedowns. In fact, since Lena Landsberg, Shanna Young, 3 takedowns, 1 against Renault, 1 against Pennington, 6 of 12 against Big Norm. What a win there. 3 of 8 against Aldana, 2 of 2 and 1. She's consistent, getting control time and landing volume. Like, I just think she's better all around than Ketlin Vieira, and so I'm going to pick her to win, and I'm going to get her at some odds value here, since she is the DraftKings underdog and now the actual betting favorite.
Yep, I'm with you. I like her in cash games. I like her in all formats. She's also remember, she's probably at 145er. Like, she's one of the few, probably. I mean, she can make 135. I think it's a little rough. There's no 145 division anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But regardless, she's big. She's going to have the size advantage, strength advantage, clinch advantage. I think Ketlin can usually bully some people, get takedowns that way. Don't think that'll be the case here. I think it stays in the feet. I think Macy uses her striking, which I do think is a little better. I think Macy could even get on top. I'm a little concerned. I think the way I think Macy loses this fight is Ketlin get the takedown. Possible. More scenarios than not, I think Macy stops them. But I think Macy falling into some type of submission late, like getting a takedown, having dominated the fight in the clinch, a late trip takedown, and then Ketlin throws up some type of submission. I mean, it's pick 'em, and that's kind of the case I'm outlining here. I like Macy Chiasson quite a bit. I do have a bet on her. I think I got it at. It was like pick 'em. It was a little. It's moved a little bit. I didn't get the best number. I think I got like minus 105 ish.
That's fine. I think I saw her at plus 100 when it opened, something like that.
Looking here, it looks like it opened up a little bit better than that. I think. Well, I could probably. What was the DraftKings opener? DraftKings open at plus 100. I think I got it minus 105 there. Just straight pick them there. So I'm on the Macy side. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, and last thing, super quick. I told you this not you, but you, with the Lucindo fight. Do not sleep on women's MMA. Macy Chiasson is one of the best DraftKings scorers, not only in her division, but of all women's fights for the most part. 3 times optimal in 3 times optimal in 4 wins, and she's averaging well over 100 points in decisions and finishes.
All right, let's talk Dustin Jacobe, Bruno Lopez. Jacobe's minus 185. Lopez is plus 160. Fight and inside the distance is minus 145, mostly because they're big fat gentlemen. They're big boys.
Big fat gentlemen.
I was gonna say motherfuckers, but you know,
it's my favorite store to shop at. Big fat
gentleman. Jacobe's 8,800. Lopez is 7,400. Monk, who you got for this one?
Yeah, I got to go with Jacobe here. I mean, Lopez has shown, some decent defense. That Godzilla fight was dog shit all around. The stats, are decent for Lopez, but don't get it twisted. Like 5 of 4, he was supposed to get smashed in that fight. Landed 5 of 14 takedowns and almost 9 minutes of control on this dude, and he only landed 33 strikes in 15 minutes. It was pretty dog shit. 1-1 in his DWCS fights. Meanwhile, Dustin Jacobe, while, what is he, 2-4 in his last 6? He's losing to Roundtree, Mirzakhanov, Menefield, and Reyes, who's on some sort of resurgence here, which I don't mind seeing. But yeah, beat Vitor Petrino, Kennedy, Oleksiejczyk, who's a tough out for sure. And yeah, I think he's looked pretty decent. And as a matter of fact, No one except for, let's see, Mirzakhanov. That's not true. Menifield landed 1. So no one's landed more than 2 takedowns on him in a fight since Darren Stewart in 2021. And they have been attempting them, as you would expect, since Jacobe's base is kickboxing. So I just think his skills, his offensive skills especially, are much better than Bruno Lopez, who has shown basically no striking. He gets outstruck as on the whole. His control time is very good at 90%, but 90% of that 90% is that shitty Gadzi Zulov fight. So we can't really take too much from that one. I just think Jacobe's going to keep this one standing. There is a 5-year age gap, but if he can avoid getting taken down and just grapple fucked, and not in a good way, meaning nothing will happen to him while he's on the ground, he'll just lay there, then I think he's got a great chance of not only winning this fight, but paying off his salary, which is somewhat high at 8,800. I'm looking for his average salary, 85. So he is $300 over his average. Not too bad. And yeah, I think he can pay this one off if he gets his game plan going on Bruno, who doesn't have great striking defense and definitely has terrible leg striking defense, his worst category.
Yeah. He needs a knockout to pay off his salary because he's just going to strike.
Yep.
It's like a little better pick him to get a finish. I'm not super confident it goes there. He's got to worry about the takedowns. He can, he's not super high volume. This is not an all-in fight, even though they're at 205. I agree with you. I think Jacobe's better. He's fine. It's not a high priority fight, but I think I'm on the Jacobe side, and Lopez is just an okay dog because, like I said, I want to mix in Filho. I want to mix in Chiasson. I want to mix in Todorovic. I have enough other options that I don't really want to play a ton down here. So of Lopez, I prefer Jacobe, but there's your cautionary tale.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got to break things down a little bit here. So we got Ramiz Brahimaj, Billy Goff. This is the fight that's been adjusted. Goff is minus 340. Brahimaj is plus 270. Despite that, Billy Goff is only going to cost you 8,300. And while Ramiz Brahimaj is 6,700. Billy Goff is the chalk of the card, keeping those numbers in mind. And then you make it a GPP must play at minus 225 to end inside the distance. Tells you really all you need to know there, but Monk, I guess, spell it out for him.
Yeah, neither guy. I mean, Goff is the quote unquote free square because $6,700 opponents should be salaried at $9,500. That's how DraftKings works, and he's $1,200 cheaper than that. So obvious implied value there. Both guys have dog shit striking defense, like real fucking bad. Bottom third of the division or of the UFC, and that's being generous. Brahimaj gets outstruck by almost 2 strikes a minute. Billy Ray Goff lands 8.5 strikes a minute over 3 UFC fights, and he's gotten hit with almost 6. So it's not great. His 100% takedown defense hopefully will play a part here, but that is 1 attempt from Waters and 2 attempts from Shimon Shmatrishki. I hope I didn't say a bad word in some language there, but so it's a very small sample size for sure. That said, Brahimaj, I mean, if he can't take you down, he is literally going to do nothing. So even his control time is just decent. It's not anything great. He's completely sub or bust. And Billy Ray Goff, has he ever been subbed? No, he has not. Only been KO'd once in his career. That said, there's a first time for everything. I don't think it's going to happen here. I don't know what fight you said you were like, this is not an all-in fight, but you were 75-25 for one guy or the other. If I am going all in here, it's definitely going to be much higher on the Goff side than Brahimaj, but I don't think it's an all-in fight. But 8,300 is pretty fucking tempting for a guy that could easily win in the first round. That said, Brahimaj has not been finished in the UFC. Is this correct? No, he's been KO'd once. It was in the 3rd round. Otherwise, he is 0-4 in decisions, or in pro decisions, 0-2 in the UFC.
At this number, these numbers, this is an all-in fight. It just is. Decide how much Billy Goff the chalk you want to eat. I'll probably be like 80%, maybe more. 8,300 minus 225. Got to play it. Not gonna, it's an all-in fight. Decide how much Billy Goff you want. It's that simple. I think both
Billy
guys
Ray.
are Billy. Whatever. Fuck him.
Billy Ray Goff.
Shut up, Ian Machado, Gary.
At least he married into that. This dude was born with this fucking name.
Well, he decided it was Billy Goff. He's like, I'm Billy Ray.
Well, it probably says. Do you think it says William Ray on his birth certificate? I think it says Billy Ray, and there's a picture of a mullet on there somewhere.
I think it's in crayon with the Y backwards.
Yeah.
Look, so give me Goff. I do think he's better. All in fight. Let's not overcomplicate it. I don't think Brahimaj is good. He burned me last time. We'll see. But really,
what fight was that? I want to say it was Sasha, but that might have been a long time ago. Mickey, oh Jesus God. Yeah, don't take too much from him KOing Mickey Gall.
And Michael Gilmore and Sasha Palatino.
That was his one and only knockout in his entire career, by the way.
So yeah. Billy Goff. Co-main event time. Mateusz Gamrot, Ludovic Klein. Gamrot's minus 155, Klein plus 133. Fight, I'm going to guess, ends at the distance? Nope. Goes to decision. Tried Mateusz fight. Minus 270. I think there's a little bit of value on the under there, by the way. I think there's potential for a finish here. Your DraftKings salaries. Gamrot is 8,500. Klein is 7,700. Monk, you got an aging Gamrot against a Ludovic Klein that is a perfect example of what the garden of Mexican fruits and vegetables can do for you if you eat right.
100%.
Who are you picking?
100%. This is who was it that I said had that Moroccan witchcraft or something? This is what Klein found that as well. Now this
not knocking him for it. Totally. No. Let all these guys write up.
I think I went into this last 2 weeks ago. I am very pro whatever. TRT, all that shit for fighters. I want to see the best of the best. But that said, Klein at 7,700 or whatever he's at, I think it's 77, is going to be the most popular underdog on the entire card. It's not even going to be close. And I think it's probably deserved. I am picking Ludovic Klein. Honestly, it is, Gamrot. He doesn't strike a ton. He lands what he gets hit with. Takedown offense is decent. The defense, takedown and control is decent, but the striking defense not so great. My hot take, I'll skip over the rest of the stats. My hot take for this fight, and I think it is a very hot take. I think this is one of the very, very few fights that I would ever say this about. This could be a possible 3-round cash stack. Think about Melky Costa versus Christian Rodriguez. We could see some sort of grappling, rolling around, reversals, tons of strike speed landed from Klein in ground positions. The loser could easily score 50 fucking points here. And, the winner might only score 70 or 80. So I don't know what that says about, if the winner's Gamrot at 70 or 80, he's not going to make optimal, but Klein at 70 or 80 could have a decent output here. So both guys score okay in DraftKings. They've each made the optimal lineup, 3 times since 2021. They've both put their opponents optimal at least once. And I think there's a chance where if you're telling me this goes all 3 rounds, and I know you're not, I agree with you. There's probably a little bit of me that thinks this does finish, especially on the Klein side. But if it does go all 3 rounds, I think the loser could score very, very well. So I might have to think about that a little bit longer. But yeah, that's just a hot take for this fight. Possible stack could pay off even in a 3-round fight. They might be too expensive for that, but I don't know. The
possibility is there, but Gamrot's been knocked down 5 times in 10 UFC fights.
Yeah,
I just looked it up. That's not good, and he's only getting older.
And it's not like Ludovic 2 Klein, at once. It's 5 different fights he's been knocked down in.
And Ludovic Klein is scary
obese
now.
Lately.
But I don't. I mean, this Roosevelt Roberts fight was not. That was.
I mean, but he beat Nacho Bahamondes. He's beaten Mason Jones. Like he's Thiago Moises.
He can get takedowns. He's strong on the feet. Look, I'm going to go with the Klein side because the chin and the age of Gamrot is really starting to make me worry. It is a close fight. I lean towards the Gamrot side, towards the Klein side. Excuse me, the Klein side. DraftKings, I think it's a solid target at this price range. I do agree with you. I think the winner scores well. I'm not sure I buy the cash stat or the something like that. Not sure I buy the stack here. 5 rounds, maybe. I know we just saw it.
I don't think either one of these guys' chin or cardio. Or I don't think Gamrot's chin can hold up for 3 rounds, and I don't think that Ludovic's grappling can hold cardio can hold up 3 rounds, unless maybe the steroids will get him way out of his mind, like going.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. So I get the point. I don't think I can do it. I'm on the Klein side. Really good fight to target. A bunch of ones we have not liked on this card. I do like this one on the Klein side. Go steroids.
Go steroids.
Main event time. Aaron Blanchfield, Macy Barber. Talk about 2 people everybody thought was going to be a champion and been a little bit checked here. Not so concerned on the Blanchfield side. That, I mean, did you see him in PRO? Like,
Yeah,
that is no joke.
it's what we call a good loss.
Yeah. So Blanchfield minus 250, Barber plus 210. Fight goes to decision minus 200. Look, that means one thing. I'll stop right there. In cash games, you stack this. Period. End of story. Move on. You just do. Gonna get off of there. DraftKings salaries. Blanchfield's 9,100. Barber is 7,100. Monk, who you got?
Yeah, I agree. I think you can cash stack this one, especially, and just because Macy Barber is so cheap at 7,100. I mean, when she doesn't score terribly. I'm trying to find it and frantically looking for the DraftKings. She's never been in a 5-round fight. That's why I can't find it. Which I had to look up because I swear she main evented something, but I'm definitely wrong about that. So yeah.
Barber?
Yeah, I swear she was a main event at some point. I must be conflating.
Yeah, but it
her
was
with
didn't
someone
she?
else.
That was You're right.
I
Unless
looked
she
on
pulled out of
UFC
that
stats,
fight?
but I never. It might have been a pullout fight. I don't know. But I
Oh,
looked
yeah,
today
no.
and I was like, where the hell is the? Because yeah, her name's not on any of those cards. And I'm pretty sure she was not a 5-round co-main. So yeah, I was pretty surprised about that. The main thing here, and why I think the cash stack might not pay off, although I do think it's a good idea, is Macy Barber's takedown defense. I know you're going to bring that up as well. It's less than 54%. It is absolutely terrible when you're fighting Aaron Blanchfield, who is not just a wrestler or just a grappler like so many people think. She has volume. She's landing almost over 5 strikes a minute in rounds 1 and 2, 4.5 in the third, 7.7 over 10 minutes of 4th rounds, and then over 4 in the 5th round as well. All of those rounds, she's getting at least half a takedown or more on average, and almost 2 full minutes of control. Her 4th round is the worst when it comes to grappling, but other than that, her control and takedowns are fantastic. Macy Barber, I mean, she's giving up takedowns, 1.5 minutes of control time, 2 minutes of control time almost in each round. Unless this stays on the feet, and even on the feet, she's landing like does not have a ton of volume. I mean, 4.7 is decent, but I think a lot of that, actually, no, she's pretty consistent. 4.7 basically throughout all 3 rounds. So
here's the card, by the way. I don't want to leave this on screen too long to confuse everybody, but it was this card. It was supposed to be Nama Yunus versus Macy, and Macy pulled out. Cortez jumped in July of last year.
That's why it must have been. I was like, how does she have 12 fights in this division and she's never headlined a card? That seems kind of wild. But yeah, Blanchfield's too good. Getting checked by Manon Fiorot does nothing to discredit her in my head. She comes back, beats Rose handily. I mean, what she did to Talia Santos was fantastic. I mean, the Andrade win, McCann win, all of her wins have just looked really, really good. And even when she quote unquote struggles, she's still landing, 100 strikes in a 25-minute fight. She's still scoring extremely well, especially for the division. So once again, do not overlook women's MMA. Barber, not a good scorer, but Aaron Blanchfield, especially in a 5-round fight, you have to fucking play her. 116 against Rose. I mean, almost 100 against Andrade in 6 minutes, 123 against McCann, several scores in the 90s and hundreds. You just have to play her. I don't trust Macy Barber to get it done. I don't trust her takedown defense. And yeah, I think Blanchfield does a lot more than just wrestle and grapple like most people think.
Yeah, the problem was Manon Fiorot, and she showed how tough she was in that fight. Like
100%.
It's not what you want to say, but it is what it is. By the way, Macy Barber should have lost this Andrea Lee fight. I think we all
got taken down 5 times. on 5
I think
attempts.
we all know that was a pretty fucked up decision, but
Jessica
she's on a
I
6-fight
controlled
win
her for
streak.
8 minutes.
You mentioned it though. 53% takedown defense. That is Blanchfield's strength. Yes, she can do more, but she can rely on her strength here.
Yep.
Like I think that's how this fight goes. Her striking's improving. Again, she just needs the wrestling. If Barber can stop the takedowns, she's live on the feet. Go ahead and play her, mix her in. I'll be over to Blanchfield, probably field or under to Barber. Kind of depends how the ownership shakes out and stacking it up in cash games. But I am pretty firmly on the Blanchfield side. Don't go anywhere yet. By the way, I didn't say it earlier. Hit the like button, subscribe to the show, share with your friends. Join us in the DFS Army Discord. You get more breakdowns, full notes from all the coaches. Any fight changes that come in, which seem to be one a week these days. We'll cover all those projections, ownerships, all that good stuff. Make sure you sign up. Link down below. And last thing for the show, Killshots. Killshot is an under-owned play that can help you win a tournament. I think we're still pretty hot in Killshots. I don't remember who it was 2 weeks ago. But I don't think the streak, bro.
I don't think I got. Oh no, I definitely didn't. No, I did not.
What did we say last week?
I
was wrong last week.
I picked the bantamweight, the women, the what's her name that got fucking key locked and scored 2 points. That was a big mistake.
Yeah, you know what? And I went on Super Sadiq Yusuf. So you know what? We were red hot though. So
we had it coming. Yeah.
So we had it coming. Time to bounce back this week. I want to say Ludovic Klein, but I can't because it's going to be too damn chalky. I do not think that qualifies. So I need a second. Monk, who you got?
Yeah, I don't think that qualifies. I could give you the ridiculous one, but I think I learned my lesson with what's her name 2 weeks ago. So I'm never going to do that. That would be the ultimate kill shot, though. I'm going to instead go with the only other one that really makes sense for me, and that is Markel Maderos. It's going to be a decision probably. He's got a good of his chance. You know, his defense is good enough to hopefully stifle Oki. And if he doesn't get it done in the first round, I think Maderos has a shot at winning.
Jordan Levitt's going to be popular. I wanted to, tell you to go way over on a favorite. I don't think I can do that. God, Klein's too popular.
Garbage.
Yeah, Klein's too popular. Chiasson's probably going to be popular.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go near the Goff Brahimaj fight.
You know you got to
don't like Bruno Lopez. Don't like Macy Barber. Todorovic, like I said, is too popular. I'm not going near Ardelean. I think by default that just leaves me with Jafel Filho. I don't have much else to go with. I would prefer Todorovic or I think he loses, and I really prefer Klein, but I think that's too chalky. So give me Jafel Filho by default. Monkey, got anything before we get the fuck out of here?
I don't think so. Let's get through this week. Hopefully it'll be a good bad card on paper, good card in actuality, meaning lots of finishes. And then we got UFC 316 next week. The 316, yeah. Newark, New Jersey. Let's fucking go. I'm excited for that card. My guy, the GOAT,
Billy O'Malley, Pena Harrison, Gastelum, and the Mexican water drinker Pfeiffer.
Oh, I can't wait to pick Gastelum again.
Hot take.
Spoiler alert.
Hot take. Patchy mix Mario Batista doesn't do it for me.
Hot take or hot opinion. I hope Mario Batista fucking wins that fight so bad.
Oh, me too.
So bad. I don't hate Patchy mix at all, but I'm so sick of the best bantamweight in the world's in the UFC now. Like, fuck you, dude. Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't think so. Here's all the fights I'm looking forward to more than Batista mix. We'll go with the easy ones, the 2 title fights, Gastelum and Pfeiffer, right? Mm-hmm. So again, fights I'm looking for. So that's 3. How many fights are on this card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's like 12.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. All right. I already got 3 fights better than
Holland,
right?
Luque?
Holland Luque, yes, 4. Silva Van, absolutely 5. Walker Azamat, absolutely 6. I can't give it Lipsky Kong, sorry. I can't give it Yeka Wu, sorry.
Yeah,
I could almost make a case that they're going to see violence and Ash Moose Sal killed, but I won't go there. I won't be that ridiculous. But I think that's going to be violence. Spivak Cortez, absolutely. Williams Medic,
borderline. If I want to be
1,000%. Oh no, that's going to
Okay.
be huge. Those
So
two
8.
guys can't stay conscious.
It's in the bottom 25% of fights I want to see on this card. And he's
Yep.
sticking it up in the fucking I mean, really like heavyweight's bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good heavyweight fight, and they're burying it. They're burying Spivak, Cortez Acosta. That's a
They really
solid
are.
fight in that division. Like that should be. I like that on the main event. In the main card. I like that fight in the main card more than I like Gastel and Pfeiffer.
I agree. I don't.
I get why you can't do
Pfeiffer-
mixed Batista. While I don't like it, I get why it's a pay-per-view fight. I get it, but I would bump Gastel and Pfeiffer out and stick in Cortez Acosta, Spivak.
What I would do is put Silva Van headlining the prelims, the go-in fight, whatever you call it, and then you put. Yeah, I don't actually. That might be. Yeah, then you.
It is right. It is right now.
Okay. Well, Tapology doesn't have them numbered, so I just see that it's okay. Yeah,
at least on UFC stats that has a fight order. I see. I could argue too. I think the best lead-in fight in terms of name value too, and gonna be fun is Luke Holland.
100%.
I think Luke. I mean, it's fine
100%.
as the first fight of the pay-per-view, but I think Luke Holland's a really fun lead-in fight.
Who doesn't like you? Either love or hate Kevin Holland. I love Kevin Holland, and
I love Kevin
who
Holland, and
hates Vicente
Vince on
Luque?
staff fucking hates him. Vince hates Kevin Holland so much.
Well, and Luque's has a decent resurgence here, so I'm super excited for that.
Gonna be a fun card. First, though, we got to make some money on this one. While name
Yes, we
value is
do.
not great, maybe it'll over-deliver. Plenty of DraftKings money to get. So again, sign up at DFS Army. I'll see you in the Discord. For Monk, I'm Sniper. Have a good week. Helmets up, and we'll see you next time.